Hello guys, it's Anni here. Long time no see. And surprise, surprise, I have a life for you. Even I did say that um, I won't do this much anymore, but I will. But I will. I have still a lot of things that I wanna say and about this recovery and what I have been learning and I'm still learning and because I made a promise when I started this my journey, like it will be like actually it will be almost like 5.5 years. Next month it will be 5.5 years without any caffeine. And like this journey can be really, really ups and downs for many, and it can be a long journey, like it's been for me. But I'm doing really well, and this break that I have been taking have been doing really good for me. I have been able to exercise a lot. I have been going consistently to the gym, and I love that because that's something that I was wishing so long that when I will be able to go back to workouts, and now I am. And then I have been doing a lot of physical work here in my home, just staying busy and out from the social media. I actually did remove my Discord too, so I have now it's but I still need to like get everything work. So next month I will be back to Discord too, but I just wanted to make this video for you where we're gonna talk about a little bit of mitochondrial health and how caffeine affects our mitochondria and our energy production. So it's really important information to understand to those people who are going through post-acute withdrawal syndrome after chronic caffeine use and after caffeinism. So this video is everyone who is going through those. And welcome also to the chat. First things first, I have to check out that everything works. So I just will check out the settings and the voice. Live for you. Yeah, because I actually everything have been like not working because I did put all these things away. So now I have been just restarting the microphone, restarting the Streamlabs, everything. But it seems that it's working. So we're gonna first go with the presentation and then I just share a little bit more my own how I'm doing. And of course, before I start, the most and the biggest thanks for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who have been helping me and who is helping me every day. I actually have now the English Bible, the Holy Bible. This is the King James Version. And I have been also reading this Bible every day. So now I'm actually reading Finnish Bible and English Bible. And I will read you one psalm here. This is a short psalm of David. So this is my way also. I want to thank the Lord because Jesus is the Lord, and it's the reason why I continue to do these videos, because I give strength for there, because I'm a human being and I'm a sinner, and alone I cannot make it, but with Jesus with Jesus I can. Okay, so this is Psalm of David. And this is, by the way, a little bit difficult English because this is really old. So if I'm not pronouncing this very well, please forgive me. He, the Lord, is my shepherd. I shall not want. He made me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of the righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. The rod and the staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So that was that. Okay, hi Jaakko, nice to see you, and of course nice to see you all, and hope you are all doing well. Now we're gonna go into the presentation. If I still remember how these things works, I'm pretty sure that I will remember. Okay, and I have to maybe fix a little bit to name the title of this presentation, because this is more about the not just, this is not like we're not gonna go in the full of neuroscience, so this is very just a short presentation about those people who maybe still are also on caffeine. Of course, those of you who are going through the post-acute withdrawal syndrome, and those of you who did fall off the mountain with caffeine, and those of you who are rewiring your whole nervous system and all the systems in the body. But I wanted to make this presentation so this will be understandable for those people also who still are on caffeine, and that we don't go so deep into that all neuroscience, because even myself, I'm learning still a lot, but I'm fascinated always with this information, and also how hard and horrible and heavy drug caffeine is. No, this is not from the book. This is something that I have been gathered information in this journey with myself and with other people who have been going through this, and also then I have been using the AI help to me to gather the information kind of together, what about what I want to say and about the neuroscience. So this is not directly from the Caffeine Blues, but everything what I say here you can read in there is the science in this presentation. You can find it in the Caffeine Blues. So Caffeine Blues is always the book that I recommend if you don't know anything about caffeine. So first read the Caffeine Blues if you don't know what kind of alkaloid caffeine is, and if you wanna also learn more about the caffeine toxins, how they restore in the body, I have also that information in my Discord. Also, already. No, what is the word? Okay, we're gonna start with the introduction. So, caffeinism and a PAWS, the long road to recovery. So, caffeine is often seen as a harmless stimulant, but the long-term and heavy use can deeply affect the body's energy production, which we are focusing today, and the nervous system. When caffeine use is stopped, the result may be PAWS. So some people are really going through this post-acute withdrawal. So it's a real thing. It's a very long journey for many, and many people need support and reassurance that they can go through that journey. And this is what I'm giving here in my channel and in my Discord, peer support for all the caffeine quitters who are going through post-acute withdrawal syndromes. So it's a state where the nervous system and the whole body struggle to find a new balance. So your whole body, your nervous system is going back to the basics, the basic settings, back to the balance. And this process, for some people, it can take months or years. So of course, the most asked questions is, when do I get better? Anni, give me the direct timeline. No, that's something, of course, what I cannot give, because everyone's journey can be individual, depending on many factors. Some people have some months of recovery. Some people it takes years, like for me and many others. So there can be certain genetic factors playing a role with that, and of course many other things, how much you have been using, when did you start your use. I did start caffeine use when I was a little child, and I did use caffeine over 30 years heavily. But yeah, the many things can vary. So I just will say that focus on your own journey always, and don't compare yourself to others. Okay, so what does caffeine do in the body? So this is a very small explanation. Remember, read the Caffeine Blues so you can have so much more information. But basically, the mechanism how caffeine affects to us, it blocks adenosines, the brain's natural tiredness signal. So we all have been already learned that when caffeine blocks adenosine, that is when people feel like, oh, I'm energized, oh, I have this boost. But that's why even the energy drinks, the name of the energy drink is really bad, because it's not energy drink. It doesn't give any energy. It takes energy away from the body. But this is the mechanism how the caffeine works, and that's why it makes it different than many other stimulants. So it makes the heartbeat faster, breathing quicker, and gives sense of false energy, which is actually a stress, because caffeine is a biochemical stress. So at the same time, and this is what we are focusing today, the mitochondria in the cells, those power plants, the mitochondria in our cells, they are actually forced to produce more that ATP, which is our body's full. And the adenosine plays a big part in that connection. So in the short term, when you have been, if you have been using caffeine maybe just 20 years, you don't necessarily know yet the long-term effects of caffeine, because they come sneakily, slowly, and it really affects all levels, how your body works, every single system, every single organ, and your nervous system, everything, because they all work together. So short term, people get this help, quick fix. There are t-shirts out there that I just need my coffee before I speak, or all kind of t-shirts and all kind of memes about caffeine, and there are even in TikTok and even Instagram, there are videos where people are yelling, they have their cup of coffee and they're yelling like, "You better fix me!" But it doesn't actually fix anything. And it's even, you make people make these fun things about that, it's still a drug. So what happens with the long-term use, and this is the most important thing in my channel, in this information, to understand that body adapts to constant caffeine. Hi Arno, yes, Maranta Yeshua, Maranatha, yes, indeed. Okay, so what are these harmful effects of chronic use and how they affect our energy production? So the tolerance, the brain adds more adenosine receptors, more caffeine is needed to feel awake. So we know that this will happen with time for many people. Even it can be that you are not aware of that when you use caffeine. You only become aware how caffeine have been affecting you after you quit it completely, and you stay quit long period of time, meaning you don't take any caffeine sources. Not chocolate, not tea, not energy drinks, not any supplements that contains caffeine or anything. I don't recommend to take any supplements anyway, because people who are healing from this, they have very sensitized nervous system, so it can just make recovery harder and even longer, and it can rebound the symptoms. That's why I don't recommend any supplements. Yes, I read the comments. Kiitos tuestasi, rakastettu uskon ystäväsi Saaremme. 4 viikon aikaa ilman kahvia, mutta ei ilman Jeesusta. Kyllä, ilman Jeesusta ei pärjää. That's so true. Oh yeah, extra kahvien mersua. Näin tolkutetaan dokuputkea. Okay, hello, mököttävä juoppo. I can tell. Hi Krampus. Okay, so nice to see you also. So the nervous system adaptation is very much what we are going through, many of us. The brain signaling system rewires itself around the caffeine. So this is what is happening when you use caffeine. So your system and the brain signaling system, it rewires itself around the caffeine. So basically, in the, just saying it very simple way, your body adapts to that caffeine use and how you live your life, and it kind of get used to that you get your daily dose of that poison and stimulation. So what happens in your mitochondrial level is mitochondrial strain, those cells are forced in the overdrive. Think about you driving a car, but there is a red light, but you just still put gas on. So you don't stop. Your body may gives you a signaling, the red light, like, hey, it's times to stop, slow down. But because you just keep using it, it forced your cells also work into overdrive. So this energy production becomes unnatural. It's not natural anymore. And their cells, they are selling energy drinks that they say natural caffeine, natural energy, and that is all false. And I will do one video what will be titled that why energy drink shouldn't be called energy drink, or like why the name itself is also so misleading. But that's about another life. Sorry, I'm a little bit with my English because I haven't speak that. So hopefully you get something with my English. Okay, so what then happens? The result. So this caffeine, when you use, no longer feels like a boost. Maybe you did give that boost, like first, that dopamine hit and that high that many people talk about. They talk about caffeine high that they are missing. But those who do fall off the mountain and who have this long-term PAWS, we don't crave it. We just crave, usually people craves just dopamine itself. That is so weird with caffeine that many other people, when they quit other drugs, they actually crave that drug. Of course, if you didn't fall off the mountain with caffeine and you still have withdrawal symptoms but milder, and PAWS symptoms but milder, meaning that you don't have that high anxiety and panic and all those symptoms what comes with this total nervous system reset, you still may crave a lot of caffeine because it can take just time before your body learns to function without that. And that can make you feel just more down and blah and not motivated. And that's when you usually relapse, or people relapse. So for my sayings for you is, don't go back. No matter what level you are going through these symptoms, even you wouldn't go through this like high anxiety, but I will say that caffeine itself, it's a drug and a poison, so don't go back to that. That is not solution. Solution is just keep going, and we're gonna go into the end of this presentation about the tips that can actually help you. So, of course, drained. Many people will get drained. Some people already are suffering a lot of fatigue and drained, feeling drained and all symptoms before they quit. So their body is already drained, but they just unfortunately have been keeping stimulating itself, keep stimulating the body with caffeine, which gives that false energy and it numbs the symptoms that body are actually trying to tell you, because the symptoms are always healing. All right, so withdrawal and nervous system collapse. This is something that it's just unfortunately happening more and more, even younger and younger people, and now with more and more with energy drinks, that many young people just, they will end up in this very heavy cold turkey journey where they just accidentally cold turkey caffeine, or they end up just having panic attack with caffeine and then they cold turkey without knowing that cold turkey itself can be really dangerous. That's why I don't recommend anybody to cold turkey, because it can just shock the nervous system and whole system, and that can cause you a lot of anxiety and panic. But you will with time anyway, even you didn't fall off the mountain, or even you did fall off the mountain, and even if you did fall off the mountain very hard, like I was probably the one of the, we called like severe case. I don't like to call severe cases because all people are different, but meaning that I went completely functional to completely unfunctional, meaning I couldn't do pretty much anything. I was rocking in the corner, terrified. I was terrified everything. I was feared everything, and I couldn't take any stimulation. I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't watch the TV. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't do pretty much anything. I was suicidal. All that you know. And now look at me. Look at me now, because everyone gets better. That's why I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing this information. I'm just one of those many of those who is experiencing this, and I just have to that calling to put this information out there, because I want to show you that we do really heal. Everybody heals with time, even those severe cases. This is why this is not an injury or brain injury. I don't like to call it injury. Some people want to call it injury, but this is not like injury. Even there would be a structural changes happening during the PAWS. This is rewiring. I like to rewiring, because many people have these windows and waves during this journey, that when you feel better during the window, not completely healed, but more functional, and then you feel more worse. And that is how the system is rewiring itself back to normal. So it's not like an injury in that self that, like, for example, okay, I had this knee injury. It didn't give me any windows. It just healed slowly, and then it healed. And it was very linear. But the PAWS process, it's not linear. It's like ups and downs, this and that. You may feel morning like really bad, because it goes the same, how you feel, it's due to those neurotransmitters levels, how they are rewiring themselves back to normal during the days, and the dopamine system and all the systems. Dopamine and adenosine are the main two systems that plays a huge role in this. And it's not that you don't have dopamine. This is not like that. You have dopamine. I don't say that you don't have dopamine, but it's more like the receptor thing. So it's that downregulation, what happening in the chronic caffeine use. Your dopamine receptors have to go back to the right balance, right amount, and right sensitivity. And same with the adenosine. It have been upregulating, so it have to do that downregulation. And that itself just takes time. And that's why sometimes the messages goes through and sometimes they don't go through. And then we go in this very important thing. So when the caffeine is stopped, a sudden this shift occurs. So, like I said, too many adenosine receptors. Without caffeine, they overact. So that lead you many times, if you cold turkey or you quit too quickly, it's gonna cause you crushing fatigue, headaches. It can cause you horrible headaches, because the caffeine narrows those blood vessels. And when you quit caffeine, those blood vessels, they're open, they widen. So the blood flow, when it starts to really come back, it can cause you like really, really crushing headaches and brain fog. But it gets better. So brain fog, all kind of cognitive issues. So mitochondria do not reset immediately. Some things cannot reset immediately. I'm just laughing because, there are many people who think about quick fixes. But even with alcoholism or with any other drugs that are causing post-acute withdrawal, it takes time. But when you speak about caffeine, it's always like people just doesn't want to believe it, because it's so underestimated drug and it's so widely used. But it doesn't mean that it's not a drug. It is. It sure is. So energy feels weak and slow. It can take long time before your energy levels will go back to the normal and even better. Of course, they go better than before. And then what you need to take care when you heal, you just need to rest, sleep. Sleep is so important to our health. I think that if we talk about the things in our life, what are the important our health, if you don't have that good deep sleep and that REM sleep where your body is actually renewing the cells and recover, it doesn't matter what other things you do. You can eat as healthy as you can and you can exercise, but the sleep is so important. And that is what caffeine is affecting so much, and it really affects directly that deep sleep and REM sleep, and it's just it just doesn't work in long term that way, that you cannot get that recovery sleep anymore. All right, so other systems, like I said, the dopamine, norepinephrine, and the stress hormones, they fall out of the balance. So it can just feel basically like that you are just like a living zombie. You have this and that and always something. That's how it feels when your nervous system is rewiring. You always have something. You feel a little bit this, a little bit that, a little bit pain there and here. And now I speak about people who are longer in the recovery. Those who do fall off the mountain very hardly, who experience this total crash, it can take months, or even like first year can be that they are just really severe acute state, meaning that they cannot pretty much do anything but survive. But then it gets better. It gets better with time. And this is not to scare anyone, of course, like always. I just want to say truthfully how it is for many people, and then just support you to keep going because it all goes away. So all neurotransmitters plays a role together and they are affected. It feels like the battery is completely empty. Many people, when they quit caffeine and they end up in this journey, they message me, Anni, I have zero energy. Young people message me that, Anni, I feel like a 90-year-old old grandma or grandpa. They message me that they have all kind of pains. They message that they cannot concentrate. They message me that they are terrified of everything. They have this fear, all kind of things. So it's very normal. It just takes time before your energy levels go back to the normal and then you are able to work out. And I want to speak a little bit more workout in this live too, because I have been seeing that is something that people want to ask questions. So this is also the why does the recovery take so long? Why does it take so long? So the nervous system and mitochondria may have adapted to caffeine for many years. Some people are in this journey who have been using caffeine 50 years. I think the oldest one who are quitting that I know are over 70 years in this journey. So keep it up, keep it up. Think about you are over 70, you are quitting caffeine. Congratulations! It's not easy to many. Okay, but then you just have to keep going. Because body can heal. Even if you are already old, it can be, of course, slower. But it is happening. So, when caffeine is gone, the body must rebuild everything. Rebuild everything. You are building a new balanced system, going back to the homeostasis. You cannot tolerate hot and cold the same way when you are in recovery. Temperature can be really huge thing. I'm here in the middle of the forest and I'm now finally feeling that I'm able to finally live here just by myself with my dog. When that time comes, when my ex-boyfriend some point moves away. But you know, even with 2 years ago, oh my goodness, I couldn't even do a snow work. I couldn't do all those physical work that I have to do every day. I was terrified that I'm not gonna ever live a normal life, that I will be depending on the other people because I didn't have possibilities, because my brain didn't work right. And that can be a scary place. And I couldn't really relate anybody who was just able to, get the food when they wanted. And I was pissed. I'm gonna say directly, I was pissed and angry because I was just thinking, yeah, but those people doesn't even exercise. They don't do anything. You get mad because you don't have anybody to get mad. Doctors cannot help you. I didn't want to go to the doctors. I'm not the person who are not going to the doctor. I just won't. Even this knee injury, I didn't go to the doctor. It have been healing itself. I don't say go to the doctor if you want to check yourself and whatever. But this thing will heal with time. And usually doctors, what they say, they just put people in pills. I have been seeing that so many in this journey. Many people, they go in some kind of pills. And then it just makes their journey more hard and rebound the symptoms. So the pills are not answer to this. But we do heal with time. So if you feel like I was feeling like you are just angry, pissed, you just would like to get better quickly, you think nobody is going through as hard as you, I understand you. I went through that. my heart goes out with you, but you will get better. And one day those naysayers that have been not believing you, they will see the change in you. Because you will become so energetic that those people who are still on caffeine, you have a lot of empathy. You have a lot of empathy, because I was also one of those people. I was using caffeine over 30 years every day of my life. So, you are rebuilding. Extra receptors must be reduced. So, mitochondrial energy production must return to normal, and it will return to normal. So, the nervous system must rebalance its settings, and it's doing that. This not happens in weeks for many people. Recovery takes months or years for many. So what symptoms can last long term? So these are the long-term symptoms that many people are having. Ongoing fatigue even after sleep, and also night wakenings are very common, and restlessness, what we call akathisia. Akathisia is a lot of due to dopamine receptor things. So akathisia means that that's benzo withdrawal. People also have akathisia. It's very common in benzo withdrawal too, but also in caffeine withdrawal. So you have to move your legs, for example, at nighttime, restless legs, or you just have to move your body. That inner, it can feel that inner restlessness that sometimes you just want to rip out your skin, and it's just that restlessness. So that some people, it can take really long time before that ease out, but it will ease out. So akathisia is really common in this, the long-term symptoms. So of course the brain fog. You feel that you have smashed potato brain, that your brain just doesn't function normally. Slow thinking, poor concentration, or all these brain symptoms. Some people always say that, Anni, did you feel dumb in the recovery? Did you feel that your IQ went down? Definitely. That's part of the process when your brain just doesn't function, when the messages doesn't go through. It doesn't mean that you suddenly go really dumb. It's just temporary state, but it can mean that you cannot process the information. I couldn't really read much because of the blurry vision and the cognitive issues that I had. So if you have a job that you need to do a lot of brain work and thinking, because we know that caffeine affects that prefrontal cortex, and it's it's firing that limbic system. It's meaning that you cannot get your smart brain and think clearly. So in this process, it can go 100 times worse than you ever were on caffeine, because many people were there on caffeine, they didn't never have these kind of symptoms that they have in recovery. For me, I was the one. I never had anything of like until I quit. But we know that caffeine affects the prefrontal cortex and all parts of the brain. So it just takes time before your thinking will improve and your cognitive skills will improve. And memory is the one that is a huge part of this process, that your memory will get sharper with time. And in the beginning, many people, they feel like they would have some kind of Alzheimer's disease, that they cannot really remember anything. I had that, and it was really scary, because when I was leaving the house, we did leave the city in that time, I didn't know where I was going, and I didn't remember what I was doing. So it was really scary, because I didn't know what it was before I started to learn all this. And now I have been already giving peer support people for many years. I have many messages. I cannot tell even how many. I have speak with many people. This is something that happens all the time, and more and more. So it's not anything for many of you, maybe if you are new followers, you are listening this can sound that is this even possible? But for me, this is just everyday common thing that people are having these issues in recovery and with caffeine. So then, of course, the loss of motivation. So nothing feels rewarding. So it can feel that without caffeine, life just don't feel good anymore. It can feel just dull. It can feel just pointless. It can feel that you have that chemical depression, that you just don't care about anything. It can feel that you just wanna scroll your phone and you are like just craving that dopamine. Same time you are craving the dopamine, but the same time the dopamine don't have where to go, like meaning the receptors are not functioning normally. It's like you need the dopamine, you crave the dopamine, but same time you cannot get the effect of the dopamine because dopamine doesn't go where it need to go. Same with this insulin stuff. It's very important to talk about this insulin and insulin resistance that caffeine is causing, and why so many people have troubles with eating in this journey. We're gonna go a little bit further too. But physical heaviness, muscle tire easily, and of course all kind of muscle pains. Neck pain and the back pain was for me the most like long-term lasting symptoms. I still sometimes have the neck pain, but it's there like almost like behind. It's almost like it's there, but it's not bothering me. I still can do all the workouts, and I'm doing them. And I actually have this really good like this massager. You can just massage your muscles with this. This have been now helping me. Before in the journey this didn't help, but now after gym, if I do massage my shoulders, I can get help from this. So it's really cool that now, and I'm also doing cold exposure. So I have been doing cold exposure many years before I did end up this journey, but now I'm doing consistently, regularly cold exposure. So it's really cold the water where I go. So it's pretty much -5 or -4 Celsius in the pool that I'm just sitting there after the gym, and I can actually feel the benefits now. Before in the journey, if I did do cold exposure or sauna, it did raise my anxiety and it did make my symptoms more heavy, but now it actually relaxed me. So I'm just so grateful that I can now benefit those things that I couldn't in the recovery. So just know all these are normal, and they fade away with the time when your system will balance out and when your anxiety will ease. Your anxiety will ease when the system will balance out. So these symptoms, there are many, they are confusing. That's why we need the peer support, and that's why I make the Discord, because they can be very scary, frightening, frightening. There are young people who are living with their parents who are going through this, and the parents doesn't understand. So you need to have some kind of community can be helpful in the beginning. And why I say in the beginning, because when you get to the place that you are more functional, I encourage you to just try to go back to the living as much as life that what you are living, like meaning that sometimes other people can scare you in this journey. That's why I don't have any mentor in this journey. I didn't want any, because I don't say that that's bad to have mentor, but I just wanted to go through it on my own, just focus the things that I can do and do them anyway. Even sometimes, you have symptoms, like just do them anyway. Like this is not for everyone, but I'm pretty stubborn. I just wanted to do some kind of exercise, even I didn't always feel like that I could. But that helped me to go through today and just focusing something else than just being in the Googling symptoms, because that doesn't help anything. But yeah, each on their own, and I know it's a hard journey, so everyone's have to go through this like they are. So why this is still healing? Why it's not something else? Why it's not long COVID, or why it's not some people think that they have unknown disease, that they suddenly have unknown disease, or they suddenly have really heavy brain tumor. Some people think that they have really sometimes rare symptoms. Stop thinking about those things. You don't have some kind of unknown disease suddenly, or listen up, guys. I know that you are doubting now. Your mind is doubting, can this still be from caffeine? It is. It is still from caffeine. Some of you check out yourself doctors all the time. You run around to the doctors It's nothing wrong with that, but you always get the same results. There is nothing wrong with you. And then the doctors just tries to give you those pills. Is it worth of paying all that money? Just asking. But I know when the mind is doubting. I know. I had that intrusive thoughts all the time. But you don't have to believe those thoughts. Those thoughts are there because of anxiety. It's not something that is really happening. So I ask you these questions. Did you have any of this before you quit? Did you have any of this before you quit caffeine? No? All right. So I didn't either. So that is what has happened to us. We did fall off the mountain, crashed, end up this nervous system reset, and that's why we are going through this, or you are still going through this. I'm pretty much in the good side, so, but you will be too. You will. Okay, so they show that the nervous system and cells are reorganizing. So this is not meaning that is permanent damage. It's not. Reorganizing. Sometimes we want to reorganize the house. I sometimes want. I like that. I want to move my. Okay, now I have this bed here, but sometimes I did move that into that another room, or I want to move the table, or we like that do reorganizing. But that's the same that our body does in the recovery. It's reorganizing everything. And it's not feeling nice, but it's must to happen so you can heal. I'm excited about this. And you will be too later in the journey, if you are not yet. So fatigue and the brain fog are signs that deep repairing is taking place. Isn't that pretty cool? So what can help? I promise that we're gonna talk about a little bit this. So because the nervous system is very sensitive during withdrawal, so you don't want to take any substances that affect the brain or dopamine. So remember, not anything. It can be anything. Even people have had like really bad rebound from the B vitamins, B6 or anything. Some people have end up using some other medications, benzos or Adderall. Or Adderall can be really bad, like don't ever take that, like, or any kind of medications that can rebound the symptoms. So don't go there, because that can just affect. I'm not the doctor. I have to always say in these videos that I'm not the doctor. I'm a peer supporter. I don't give any medical advices. I just speaks about experience and what I have learned from the other people when they are going through this journey. Because when you just focus helping caffeine quitters every single day, many years, you get to hear a lot of stories and you get to see what people are going through, and that's how you learn. We call it citizen science with Mandy. So what you do instead than try to find a quick fix or medicate yourself with some medications, you give it time. This is the most important thing, which leads you to full recovery. But it's slow but steady. The withdrawals itself, it's steady. It's not steady. It's not linear. It doesn't feel steady. But the time itself, it's what fixes this. So rest and sleep. So even you have broken sleep, like many of us had for years, the broken sleep that we did have a lot of insomnia, night awakenings. First, it was like full terror, night awakenings, and nightmares. Even if you would sleep a little bit, it still helps healing. So if you need to take naps, I did need to take naps so long time. Now I don't always take naps. Sometimes I still take a nap if I wanna feel restored, but it's not like I have to take. In the recovery, I had to take nap. I couldn't survive without the nap. And I always knew that it was something to do with the dopamine stuff, because after the nap, I always felt a little bit more refreshed. But if I didn't get that nap, it almost felt like my brain goes crazy or just, I just felt really scared. It wasn't like, oh, I just need to nap and then I feel better. It was, I had to. I remember I was somewhere, I think it was around my 2 years. We went to somewhere with my ex-boyfriend, and I was watching one of his games, and I just suddenly felt like I had to go to the car, and I was crashing. I everywhere I did go, I had to plan that trip that I have to take my naps. So it was really devastating. I just couldn't function without those, and that was due to brain healing. But now I can go through the day without the nap. But sometimes I just want to nap because my rhythm is still that I stay up kind of late. It's just something that I am more like staying late, and then I also like to sleep pretty late. But that works for me now, and I'm just so happy that I can sleep so much better. My sleep is so deep. I still sometimes wake up, but it's nothing like I can get easily back to sleep. It's not like before that I have to just stay awake with terrified, and my nervous system is like, oh, it's not like that. It's just I sometimes be awake, and it's usually around my cycle. Today is 24th day of my cycle, so that is pretty much when the dopamine is more lowest. In the women's is go pretty much in these symptoms go around their period cycle. So if you are syncing your cycle, if you are like calculating your cycle like many women do in their ovulation and periods, you can get to see the pattern in this journey that it goes to with the dopamine and estrogen, which are connected. So you get to see for example, when the ovulation, when the estrogen should be high and dopamine starts to raise, it actually doesn't feel any good at all because your estrogen and dopamine doesn't work in the balance. So that means that you can have a lot of brain symptoms and just feeling weird in the brain before it all balances out. And the same before the periods, when the dopamine is more low, you can actually like feel that more intense, like when your dopamine is low and it doesn't go through the cells anyway, the receptors, of course you're gonna feel just more exhausted and more drained and depressed. But that's just temporary. And you know what is interesting in this journey? I know that this is a little bit longer live, but it doesn't matter. People can listen or not listen if they are interested. Which is interesting that on caffeine, when I was working out, I didn't never feel that low. I will tell you one really important thing what comes to dopamine if you want to stay healthy and if you are a workout person. If you do workouts when naturally raises your dopamine, after that when you have recovery day, you should feel low because you are resting. But the problem with caffeine, and I see that now in the gym, I see that now so clearly there are those kids, I say them kids because there are people who are 15, 14, and they are allowed into the gym drink energy drinks as a drink when they work out. And those kids, they are doing with really heavy weights. They don't focus the technique. They are crashing themselves. They are just doing those with that caffeine high. And okay, they are still young. They are still growing. They are developing. But what they are doing in their brain and in the long term in their body and their cellular health. So that doesn't like make any sense that they do that for me. But what I was about to say about when you go back to balance, it's actually good that you feel that low, because then when your body learns to live without caffeine, you know when you are tired, you are not able to crash yourself, because that is not possible, because your body will take the rest when you are not taking any drugs. And I always want to point out, not any mind-altering drugs during this process is really important, because if you take some alcohol or some other mind-altering drug, it will affect your healing process. I don't say that it is possible heal at one drug at a time, but of course, if you wanna like get the best result in this journey, don't take anything, and it can affect your PAWS process. But like I said, that it's natural to feel tired after feeling really using energy. You have to learn that balance, because on caffeine, the many people I know, because I worked in the practical nurse for many years, where the places where people do a lot of like night shifts, night workers. So those people did do crazy hours of work. And I remember they always had coffee and energy drinks, and they are just boosting their system. And I remember I worked in one place with the elder people in the elder home, and the boss said that they are allowed to do double shifts, meaning that if you were in the morning shift, if you wanted, you could do the evening shift from there. So you could do like 16-hour workday without any, you could just do it. And then I become to learn that many times if I had my morning shift and then I have a coworker with me who had done previous like the 16-hour shifts, like the morning and night shift, they were drained. Like they were trained and they were just taking more and more coffee and caffeine, like of course I was too, but they couldn't really do that shift. Like they couldn't really help me with that shift because they were already drained. So that was happened with caffeine, that you can boost yourself to do those really high things, like long period of times. You can just push and push and push and push. But then some point your body starts to give you signals, like it starts to give you fatigue and it starts to give you that like draining feeling. Which is that sign when I say that if you drive a car and there is red light on, it says you that slow down. Your body have been telling you slow down, but because you don't maybe have been knowing that caffeine is a drug like many of us, that's why we cannot blame anyone who is using that, because the most people doesn't know. They doesn't know. It's just habit. In my country, it's a huge habit. It's everywhere, every place, everywhere we go. It's a habit. So that's why this information is so much needed. So if you don't listen, then those signs that your body is giving you, then you cannot just take more caffeine because you feel already so drained, so you can push even more. And can you see the correlation in that mitochondrial effect that I'm trying to show you what happens then? We don't need to be neuroscientists to understand this. But sleep is so important, like I say. So then I recommend you this regular daily rhythm. Whatever is mean for you, have some kind of tiny rhythm. Sometimes it can mean that you go a little walk. Maybe you just go a little walk or nature, and I don't know what it can be. For me, I had to do physical work here in my home, meaning warming the house and sometimes doing the snow work and all that. So it really wasn't like a fun thing, but I did it. I had to do it. So it helps you to go through the days when you just have something to do with your physical body. And I want to do one video how exercise can also help in the brain recovery. Even in this journey, for me, I didn't see it didn't help anything the length of the recovery, but it definitely was one thing for me that was helpful, like walks, swimming, the gentle exercise that I could do. But now I'm back to what I was doing before. So if you are not able to do in the gym the levels that you were before, if you are gym rat, I'm not really in the gym person. I'm just now there, and I do my own things also, and I do also with the machines and weights. But I also like to do things with my own weight. But meaning of that if you do, and I promise you to speak about this too. So if you have been usually before this caffeine quitting journey, you did do with the bigger weights, you were able to do with bigger weights, and that can cause you panic attack in the recovery, like it did to me. Like I tested sometimes my nervous system. Sometimes I did do too much weight with too long exercise, and then afterwards I felt dizzy, disconnected, DPDR, and panic attack. So even with that, it doesn't hurt you. Okay, there are many people who are scaring people in this journey. Guys, okay, if you did a little bit too much, what happens after that? You crash. You don't die. Okay, you did do a little bit too much. What then? You're gonna continue. Do a little bit less, because nobody in this journey can say you what is for you I'm stubborn. I wanted to do exercise still, and I'm now glad that I did, because I'm glad that I even did something. Do even something, because you are the only person that can like know how much you can do, and there is no way to do that than find out in the recovery. Like, you will learn that your body will take the rest anyway. If you do too much, meaning that your symptoms will ramp up, then you're gonna just feel a little bit and whatever, and then your recovery will continue, but it will continue. So I will always recommend do the exercise that you can in that phase of the recovery where you are. That's the simplest way to say it. But the gentle movement and being in the outdoors, of course, like if you can be outside, just breathing fresh air outside can be helpful. Walking, so you support that natural energy without forcing it. So in the beginning, it's not so good to force. You can a little bit I mean a little bit forcing that sometimes if you feel like you cannot even go outside the house, like meaning that you have that agoraphobia, that you are just scared of everything. I was scared of everything. Dog was barking, wind was blowing, I was here living in the forest, we have wolves here. Sometimes I was just wandering in the forest, like I'm alone, like I was just, but who cares? I was terrified and there was nothing dangerous, nothing. But because your nervous system is rewiring, you are terrified. So why to go? You can go. You can go outside a little bit. I'm just challenging you a little bit, because I would have hope that I would have some kind of person who would be really reassuring me and not just giving any kind of fear, because when I did go through this, I didn't know this full process. Now I know, so I know that I didn't do anything that could have hurt me. Only thing that I think that is you're gonna have to be really strict with those supplements and medications. But if you did exercise before and you enjoy that, if you can do that even a little bit and that can help you through the day, do that. And don't be scared what other people are saying, if you can. But don't start to take anything. Okay, so acceptance. The exhaustion is temporary, not permanent. So try to accept this, that you don't feel this forever. You really won't. I know that if you are in 5 months, 6 months, it can feel like the completely hell, but you don't feel like that forever. You won't. And one day it's a memory that you don't really want to think about all the time anymore. It really is. You go back to living life, whatever that means for you. I'm so thankful for Lord Jesus that I'm now able to be in the gym, and it's so weird that these little things that I didn't really appreciate before in my life, I was just thinking, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Well, we did see how that did go. Okay, so what is the summary of this presentation? So chronic caffeine use pushes the nervous system and mitochondria into the overdrive. You are driving and driving and driving and driving with the red lights on, and you never stop. Some people never will stop. They go throughout all their life. Some people have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or other chronic illness because of caffeine. When we use stops, the body collapses and must rebuild balance. So then, when you stop using, you're rebuilding balance. That's what you are doing now. And this can be a slow process and take years, but it's always moving forward. So what you should focus every day is just one day at a time, and that you are moving forward. And one day you are healed. That is a promise. If you don't take anything, you just go forward, that will happen. And in the end, energy no longer comes from caffeine, but from the body's own natural power. So you eat food, you sleep, simple, you have energy. Do everything what you want. Simple, 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 simple. So my words, keep it up, you got this, good, don't go back. This was this presentation, and then I also promised to speak a little bit about that insulin resistance. Did you know that caffeine causes insulin resistance, meaning that it disturbs how the insulin works? So shortly, if you don't know what insulin does, it actually helps the glucose go into the cells. So I try to explain this very simple way. so it's more understandable, even with my poor English. So let's say that you eat food and you have that glucose for the energy, for the ATP production. So that energy that you get from the food, it goes in the cells when you are in the homeostasis. You get energy. You feel full with that food. You don't feel wired, tired. You feel that you don't need to eat much. You can eat less and you still have the energy. You don't crave sugar. You don't crave sweet, especially if you have been, I don't eat any processed sugar or anything. Now, in this time, my diet is just pretty simple. I can do video about that too. But it's basically just pretty much saying that it's have been all this journey. I just have now so little money that like I try to manage with very little money. So basically I'm eating chicken and veggies and berries and then some fruits in the gym and some rice, like before the gym. And eggs. I still eat eggs. But you know, I couldn't eat for... I haven't eaten gluten for years and years. I did quit gluten for, I think, when I was 20-something. 24 maybe, I don't remember right. But gluten and dairy can be... Dairy was also me for huge no in the recovery. And gluten, I was already gluten-free for a long time, but I haven't go back to that. And dairy is always complicating to me because I have that lactose issue. So now I just don't... I don't use it because I don't always have afford the raw milk, raw milk was something that I was able to do, but now I cannot really buy that. So I just do without. But this can be due to temporary, because I have heard the people that when they recover, they are able to then eat foods again. But for me, I just want to still keep my diet clean, just because I like that. It's simple, it doesn't cost a lot of money, and I collect my own berries. So that will save a lot of money for me, that I eat blueberries and lingonberries, and I use those, and eggs are pretty cheap. Some veggies are pretty cheap too, so you don't need a lot of money to eat healthy. And when your body is like in the balanced state, we go back to that blood sugar. Oh, I have to check that is this still running, because why it is running. There is not just viewers here, so I have to check. I know that in America you are not still awake, so you probably watch this later. But yeah, so caffeine disturbs that insulin, that it cannot do its work. So insulin helps that glucose go into the cell. So the problem in this PAWS for many people are that really much that ATP function, it doesn't, like the mitochondrial functions are not working right before they start to go back to balance. So it means that some people, like for me, I just needed to eat or keep food with me in the car or wherever. And I always just didn't feel any effects. I just always just feel that I needed to eat, but whatever I did eat, I never felt like fully like that energized feeling. It was just always like something was a little bit off. But now I actually don't need to eat so much. I can do the intermittent fasting again, which I couldn't do in the recovery. So my body is not freaking out. And that's also, if you have high anxiety, if you have sensitive nervous system, if you try to fast, that can be really stress for the body. So that's why some people cannot do the fasting. Some people can. And if you can do the fasting and that helps you, Bible also speaks about fasting and stuff. But if you can't do the fasting in the recovery, don't blame yourself. You can do the fasting again after you heal. So those people who don't fall off the mountain and they quit caffeine, for example, if they taper slowly and they just have more milder symptoms, meaning that they have maybe fatigue, low energy, depression, they can be some people can fast, and they have said that it's useful for those. So then fast if that is useful. But those of us who had that total nervous system crash, meaning that we were stressed about everything and anything, and our stress system have to rewire it completely, meaning that we have to learn from the zero starts to tolerate with stress. So for us, the fasting doesn't work in the recovery. And I was pissed because, you know, I always, before I was doing intermittent fasting and I could fast if I wanted. But now I can again. So that too will come back to normal with time, if you wanna do that. So everything what comes to that, insulin functions and glucose go into the cell, that will come back to balance with time. I don't say that glucose doesn't go at all in the cell, but it doesn't fully go. Like it doesn't fully work like it should. So that's why it can feel that you don't really get the energy from the food and before everything just balance out, because your body has been used to that caffeine and how it has been affecting your system. So it has to basically learn to work with the natural energy, if that's the most common, not common, like most simple way to put it. But okay, if you have any questions now, I will be happy to answer if I can, and just know this is just my experience and what I have been learning and the information that I have gained from the other people that I wanted to share. And I promised to do that video also with Mandy, so we are doing that too in somewhere soon. And then also, I have, like I said in that video, I have plans still in this YouTube. I don't wanna continue it in the same way. I have also other plans. I will do these support videos every now and then, but not so often than before, because it was really draining me, because I did put pretty much all my energy to just help caffeine quitters, and it just takes all the time that you have, because you speak with people, you answer the message, and then I was trying to do all this work, and it was really good at that I did it. But now I have all the other stuff that I want to focus, which is exercise, working out, and the most important thing, seeking of kingdom of God. So the Bible. This is a little bit hard for me to read because of my English, but I still want to do these Bible readings. And what I also have been thinking about, that I probably still continue that new content with the same channel, so then I don't have to make a new channel, because it's just, probably easiest in that way. I know many of you maybe then I may have lose followers, but that's, if I lose followers, then so it will be, because I have been praying Jesus to guide me and teach me and what I should do and what I should not do, because sometimes I just get irritated and frustrated about everything. You know how this world is now. So much is happening in our world and not so good things, and I just needed to, I wanted to take break from everything and just, start to do those things that I used to love before this journey. And those things have been exercising, working out, and now it's because I did get that faith. Jesus saved me that it have been over a year now that since Jesus saved me. So after that, I have been starting to study Bible and read the Bible, and just that's so important to me. So those things will of course show here in my channel now in the future, because it just doesn't make sense that I always just keep doing the same stuff, because it's part of my recovery where I am now, that I am able to function at level that I haven't been for years. So then of course I also wanna show that and do that. And I know some people just you wish there is so it's so difficult if you try to please people when you do YouTube. Some people say that I should just read Bible, nothing else, or just speak from Jesus. But when I started this journey, I made a promise from God that if I will survive from this journey, this anxiety, this rewiring journey, I will keep helping people for the rest of my life who are suffering more withdrawals. And I want to keep that promise, so that's why I am doing more other things. I have now that I also want to support porn addicts, because that's also a huge addiction in our society, and social media addiction. Those addictions are pretty new in that sense that it's really huge now what the young people have. And I'm seeing that more and more with the kids, that they are just so addicted to their phones, and it's horrible. And the porn too. And the next month I will actually start a Discord support chat called Flee from the Lust, Anni's support chat for the porn addicts. And that is the supporting chat, everyone who needs to just talk. If you have that hard moment you can have in that addiction, and you feel that you just need somebody to talk throughout the hard moments, like same thing that I'm doing with those caffeine quitters with the Discord. That's what it is, really, the peer support group. What I'm doing in the Discord, it's I help those people go through their hard moments so they can just talk, and I'm listening. I'm not there to giving your advice what you should do. I'm there to listening what you are going through. And that's, I think, what I have been called to do. And I have been using a lot of time just for prayer and asking God that, God, please tell me, please Jesus, tell me that is this something that I'm called to do. And I have been getting answers was that yes, but at the same time that it's not have to be too stressful for me, that I don't need to save the world or try to do anything. That's up to God's hand. It's just that I can do as much I have strength, and sometimes not to do, and then also do videos from the gym and videos about the healthy food. And I don't have to go in any box that people wants to me to be, because like, you know, if you are a YouTuber, if you are content maker, you cannot never make the content that will, okay, maybe you can actually you can, because you can make a content that will just be pleasing people, but I'm not that kind of person. I wanna do what I seek from the kingdom of God, and not what just will be feeling good for me or for somebody else, because that's the hardest part. Like, I think this world is not just about like what we want to do and this and that and how we feel good and pleasured. Sometimes we need to do also things that it's not always so easy, and depending whatever you want to do in the world. But for me now, being disciplined is one thing that I really love. I want to be disciplined in the gym and with the diet and with everything. It just is something that is for me. I was disciplined before in my life, but I was never in optimal state, because, you know, caffeine was causing me so much that unbalance. And you know what I have learned in this journey, that caffeine is actually causing for many people to go to the other addictions too. So it's a gay drug, because it keeps your nervous system stimulated, and it makes you feel restless. So that's why many people, they do those irrational things when they are on caffeine, and then they end up like shopping addiction or gambling addiction or porn addiction or whatever addiction. For me, it was a shopping addiction sometimes. Oh, even with caffeine, I remember I was just, you know, online shopping, even I didn't really have money. So that all is gone too. And yeah, so that's what I'm kind of going through now. I have been just working out, cold exposure, physical work, seeking the kingdom of God in the Bible, and trying to be humble. I know that if I want to also forgive, like I want to also say I'm sorry if I have like say something that have make somebody's feeling bad, because, you know, I'm as a person, I'm just very stubborn. So I think that is for me like what God is teaching me. The Bible says that, I don't remember direct words, but that we shouldn't be proud, or like just we should be like humble. And because I, as a sinner, I'm nothing. Like, we humans are all the same, and I do believe that Jesus does love everyone. It does love you so much. You are his dearest child if you just wanna call out to Lord help, he will help you. And yeah, so that's something that I can notice, that have been changing also, that I don't need to be right anymore about things or argue with people. I'm just sharing this thing and hope if this helps somebody. And yeah, and let's see what all this channel brings out. And of course that NoFap support that I started to do, that is part of that work, that I help those porn addicts in their recovery. And I will do some kind of informational videos about the science part, because the science part it's so important in that sense, that people will understand what is happening in the brain. And for me it's been so helpful when I have been able to understand. I know that not everybody is not interested about science. I know that you don't have to, like, I know that some people, they just want to get better, and who cares about science and neurotransmitters, and who cares about the HPA axis, and who cares about the mitochondrials. And yeah, that's okay. You don't have to be interested about those. You don't have to be interested about anything. You will heal with time. But for me as a person, I am just very interested about the chemistry and the neurochemistry, and I think I will always be somewhat interested about those things, because being as an introvert person, I don't have social life. My social life is zero. I can say it's now it's zero. So I'm just here in the forest doing these things that I've been called, like, it's just amazing how much that information can help people to understand about their bodies and how the God created us. That's what I think. Like, it's just for me. But I know it's not for everyone, and not, you don't have to be, you can have whatever. I know the basic thing, what you wanna do, you wanna be able to live your life. And you will be. The withdrawals is not gonna last forever, and the pause. That's the shortest message, the most important message to people, that you will go back to live your own kind of life, whatever that means for you. If you're a mom, you will be connected to your kids again. You will be able to play with your kids, go with your kids to places and enjoy. I know there are many parents in this journey, and it's devastating for me to watch that when people cannot really connect with their kids. But you know, you will be connect with your kids again, and with your family and loved ones, and pets. Pets, sometimes pets can be as a kids too. Like, yeah, I have a dog, the pit bull, which is stubborn too, but yeah, I'm happy at least that I'm now able to connect with that pet and train her more. Even I still have long way to do those things that I was missing to do in the recovery. Do I have a little bit, like, do I have some kind of guilt? I think this was one that many of you wanted to, PTSD and the guilt, you wanted to know that I should talk about, like, do I have PTSD from this journey? No, I don't. And that, do I have guilt for missing all these years and the missed time with my family and loved ones? Yes, I do. My sister's sons are now, oh my goodness, they are almost like adults. They are grown-ups, and greetings if you are watching this. And I missed so many years. They are becoming the professional athletes as cross-country skiing, and God bless them. And they are so important to me. And I missed so many moments, so many competitions that I couldn't go. And I missed seeing my mom and my dad and all that. And next month I will be traveling. We will go to the cottage with my mom. And I will see my family. And it's, you know, they don't understand, of course, what I went through fully. Even, you know, I told them. But you know how it is when if you love one, end up this journey. And nobody doesn't understand what happened, and it's really hard to explain them why you cannot travel or why you cannot meet them. And what you can say that you were injured by caffeine. Even I don't like the word injury, but sometimes you have to say it's a little bit harsh for the people who doesn't understand at all. But then again, think about that all the time that you have left when you recover. You have all the time, and now I don't miss any of that time. I don't care what is happening in the world. I don't miss any of time anymore. I will say every day, the people who I care about them. I recommend that to you, because we don't never know when we're gonna lost someone. So just say to people you are close to you that you care. Even in the recovery, you can say that. Even if you wouldn't feel, okay, let's say that if I don't have a children, but let's say that if you have a children or mom and dad, some people of you are young, you are living with your mom and dad, so you can say your mom and dad or your children that you love them, even if you would be in the recovery and even you couldn't function normally, because that is the most important thing still. Like sometimes I always say you have to fake it until you make it. That's what it is for many people. They just have to sometimes fake the situation. I know that in the recovery I did have to do some of the trips where I was in some meetings with my family, and I have to fake it there. Like I had so many symptoms. I have pains, I have headaches, I have dizziness, I have DBDR. I didn't feel like I'm a normal human being, but I have to still kind of fake that there we are, and you know, and it was hard, but at least I did try to do my best. But just this is for support for all of you who are still in the process, and I know how stuck you can feel, that when you do recover, you get all and everything back, and then you don't want to miss those opportunities that you have. My parents are pretty old already, so of course I'm concerned about them, and that sense that I couldn't in the recovery, and I always pray them well, and they are always in my prayers, and the son, my sister's sons too. I always want that they would have the good health and they would do well and all the good. But yeah, let's see the comments. Hi Tuula, terve. Minäkään en pysty tekemään oikein mitään, mutta tämä matka kannattaa käydä. Kyllä, todellakin. Yeah, really. So even I know that I'm just so emotional sometimes, because now I can actually feel the emotions normally. Before I really couldn't, because I have that numbness. But this journey is so worth of going through, because you will feel so much happiness for the little things. You even here in the nature where I have been now collecting berries, I watch the nature in the different way than recovery. I was just, going there and scaring that what I'm gonna feel tomorrow if I'm spending 2 hours in the forest. So now it's almost like I don't feel the time. It's so weird to explain that when I'm there in the forest with my dog, it almost feels like I don't worry anything. Like I'm just there, and I actually, it was one evening that I was sitting there. There is already dark here in the evening. It's so beautiful this autumn. And I was reading there, I was just sitting there in the darkness, and I was actually thinking that I am able to live here just by myself next year. Like I was just like I never thought that I will be able, but I will actually, I was crying because I can do now all the physical work, and I can do all the things that I have to. And what a blessing that is, because in life nothing is promised. We don't know ever when we're gonna die. We don't know when we're gonna have this life or not. And that's why we should care about those who are close to us, no matter if they're on caffeine or what they do. I mean that the people who are close to you, the most important thing is here to love, I think. And like word of the God, seek kingdom of God first, and then everything else shall be given to you. So yeah, and Jesus did teach us that love, how he did love all the people in the Bible too. But yeah, before I start to cry more, I just want to wish you a well and good day, and you will see more my videos, and hope you did enjoy this presentation, and hope you understand now maybe what is happening in your body when you are healing. So it's not anything bad, it's actually good. Those symptoms are very good sign that you are healing. So if you can just accept that and just try to go one day at a time, you will get better. I promise you. And see you guys in Discord. I have been missing you. I know that I'm not there yet, and I don't really know what is happening there, but just know that I will be there, and you know that all will be good. All will be good. Alright, guys. Thank you, and have a nice day.